come to you with 2 debates between 9 and 10. It's a packed format tonight. Yesterday, if you heard, I'm going to play clips once again of the first ever interview of Mehul Choksi, the journalistic scoop that everyone was looking out for, the journalistic reporting chase to get one man to speak on record. Republic Media Network's executive editor Ridhamanand Bhardwaj landed that big exclusive. Here are clips, and then we debate.
Why the move to Antigua, Mr. Choksi, if Nirav Modi and you are completely distant from each other and so are the cases?
Well, I would have never moved to Antigua. The reason of getting an Antigua passport was nothing else but that my traveling was very heavy and I couldn't wait for visas, and I was planning to start some business in Korea. I've told all this thing before already, and there was no reason. The reason was that my visas in America were expiring, and this was the only official passport I had, so I came here. There was no other reason for anything. And then, of course, it was required for my health to not to move from here, so I didn't move anywhere from here. The Indian team had reached already with lots of papers, and anyway, this was not required. I have always been available. I've always told that I can talk. I was just nothing else, but even I had all my life, whatever I worked for 51 years of the company's existence, and it was a very reputed company. All of these media agencies were working with me. They knew that this was one of the most reputed company. There was never any criminal charges except some civil disputes in India when I deal with 4,000 or 5,000 companies all over the world. The civil disputes are always possible. There was never any criminal convictions ever, and it was a very reputed company. Why did they have to close it down? Why did they have to join with I had, after even announcement what I had made, that I am not connected with my nephew's case, even then they taken away all my properties, and even they took my computers and entire machinery to operate further. This was all not necessary. They finished my company in probably less than 5 days' time. When I was on the bed for my operation in America, all this thing happened.
With us tonight, Vijay Agarwal. Vijay Agarwal is Mehul Choksi's lawyer. He's also a top criminal lawyer who's represented Shahid Balwa in the 2G scam. He's represented Chanda Kochar in the ICICI Bank case. He's represented Ratul Puri in the Augusta case, and now Mehul Choksi in this case. This one is going to be tough for you. I know you're used to winning, but this is going to be tough to you because I think, and Suhail Seth's joining us tonight, leading corporate voice, managing partner of Council Edge India's Brand Guru, and Gaurav Bhatia stays on. What do you think, Suhail? This is going to be tough for even Vijay. Because if you see the interview, I mean, he's really trying to portray himself as a victim, but who's going to buy this story, Suhail? Who's going to buy this story?
Knowing how formidable a lawyer Vijay is, but this is not only about the legality. And I've heard Vijay on your channel talk about the legal issues, blah, blah, blah. I think it's also to a large extent about the manner in which Mehul Choksi has behaved post the initial round of allegations that were made. If you have nothing to hide, you subject yourself to the authorities. And a lot of people do that. So it's not as if, you hide from the law and then blame the law for being pernicious or being all pervasive. So I think since Vijay rightly argues in Indian courts, he more than anyone else would understand that this should have been addressed in an Indian court of law, not in Antigua or Dominica.
Yeah.
And I think that is where the fundamental flaw is.
I think that's the point. That's the precise point. The point is Vijay, that if your client has done no wrong, why doesn't he fly back to face Indian law? What is the fear about?
Yes.
What is the tell us all. Tell us all. Yeah.
Yes. You rightly asked me. That's a very pertinent question. And Mr. Sohail is also right about it, that why he doesn't come to India, why he is not facing so. We see the first fear is that there are a couple of directors. There is one director in Mehul Choksi's company. He was told by CBI, he was abroad, that you come over, we want to only interrogate you. And even if we arrest you, we will not oppose your bail. He is in custody for last 3 years. In coal scam, CBI did not arrest anyone. And he's a small man. The way when his children look at me, I'm not able to get him bail. I feel there is some impotence in my advocacy that I'm not able to face the children. When he was to return from abroad, he called me. He sought my advice. I said, okay, you come over. Even if they arrest you, you will get bail in 60-65 days, because they have made managing director of Punjab National Bank an accused, and they have chosen not to arrest her. And she comes to the court and she walks out. So I said that you are also a director and you are not as powerful as the MD of the Punjab National Bank or the directors of the Punjab National Bank. So please, here there is no equality, so to say. So they do not.
So I think you're making things up.
Punjab National Bank, but they arrest the director.
No, Mr. Agarwal, Gaurav Bhatia wants to counter you. Something's not adding.
I will request that Gaurav Bhatia counters me once I make my point. And of course, he's a formidable lawyer and a great lawyer, and of course he will counter me. I'm sure. But the only thing is the only thing is that here the person is not getting bail for 3 years, and in the everyone there are people who get bail. There are people who don't get bail. Now please see, Mr. Chidambaram got bail, rightly so, in say 60-65 days. But there is one poor director, he is languishing in jail for 3 years. So this is one fear. Second is that the company got closed within such a span of time, and everything is seized. So when he comes here, he has to engage lawyers, he has to do things, and his health is also not permitting. And now one cannot say.
No, Vijay Agarwal, you are. No, Vijay Agarwal, before you get into full flow, you have to understand, you are a good lawyer. But the problem with good lawyers is sometimes they lose logic. You have law, but law has to be based on reason. And let me tell you why you are being unreasonable tonight. You are being unreasonable because the poor Mr. Mehul Choksi, the dear Mr. Mehul Choksi, the innocent Mr. Mehul Choksi, the fearful Mr. Mehul Choksi is saying, I have debt. I have no money. My debt is mentioned as 9,872 crore. But in the interview, he says, I moved to Antigua to start a business. In an affidavit filed by a Bhavnagar-based jeweler in the Gujarat High Court, his debt is mentioned as 9,872 crores. Which version of Mehul Choksi do we believe? You see, how can he claim that the reason of moving to Antigua was nothing else but my traveling was very heavy and I couldn't wait for visas, when the escape was perfectly timed to weeks before the PNB scam broke out in January 2018? The fact is, your client is not an innocent man.
See, the moment a person engages me, he turns innocent. And it is my job to prove him innocent, and I do that. And please, on your channel, please hear me. Just with the same thing on your channel, you said in 2G scam, everyone is a criminal. And even now, at times, it is quoted in 2G scam happened. Everyone has been honorably acquitted. Same thing was said about Tarun Tejpal. Same was said in the Arushi case. So please see, and you know, you do not let me complete, and you hear. So this is it. When you are in the chair and when you are running the show, that time you also lose patience. You know, I don't. Before I lose logic, you lose patience. Arnab, if you do not permit a person to make a point, you jump in between.
No, I don't lose patience.
You feel that you've been able to understand what I was going to say in my
Vijay,
but you are running the show. You run the show. I speak.
Vijay, I didn't want to. You know what, Vijay? Let me make a confession. Please. I wanted to be a lawyer. I would have loved to spar with you in a court instead. It's a circle of events in life that you are fighting on television.
I'm so thankful to you. Otherwise, you will give me as well as Gaurav run for money.
All right. Gaurav Bhatia is responding to Vijay Agarwal.
We will be anchoring somewhere.
Fascinating debate tonight. Gaurav Bhatia. Yes, Gaurav.
Arnab, my friend and colleague, is definitely a good lawyer, and he knows a good lawyer will only advise, not guarantee bail. And as for Mehul Choksi, Mehul Choksi is a small man. Small man because he's a fugitive. He has indulged in acts of corruption. He made money in India, but now he doesn't have faith in the judicial system of our country. But let me tell you what has changed. The determination of the BJP government under Narendra Modi ji. We have ensured recovery of 18,000 crores. That is formidable. We must appreciate the work done by the investigating agencies. Second, I can assure every viewer that Mehul Choksi, just like Nirav Modi, Vijay Mallya, will come back to India. All the money that they have looted of innocent people and citizens will be recovered, and they will be behind bars, and let the courts decide whether they are guilty or not. It is not for my friend Vijay or for me to decide who's guilty and who's not.
I want to get rhythm on the phone.
There is a responsibility on the citizen to face the trial. He can't run away from that, and this government will ensure that he faces the trial.
Absolutely. I'll get rhythm on the phone. I'll get rhythm Anand Bhardwaj on the phone. She feels, Sohail, that Mehul Choksi will be a very good scriptwriter for a Bollywood film. And I suspect somewhere Mr. Agarwal may be advising him these days. But before I get rhythm, who's going to tell us why Mehul Choksi, when he comes back, can write a Bollywood film. Fact is, look at the facts here. Look at the facts here, Sohail. Mehul Choksi says, I'm not connected to Nirav Modi. I'm not connected to my nephew's case. I don't even know him. I've never met him. Right? The enforcement directorate says Choksi allegedly diverted $56 million of loan funds to Nirav Modi and another $50 million to Nirav Modi's father. You give $106.12 million of loan funds to Nirav Modi and his father, and then you tell Republic, I don't have anything to do with Nirav Modi. Would anyone buy this? And why do you think, what are the bigger issues at stake here, Sohail, for corporate India as well, for corporate integrity?
I think three things have happened, and Gaurav Bhatia alluded to one of them. Narendra Modi and Nirmala Sitharaman are not trying Mehul Choksi or any one of these people. These people will be tried, as Vijay Agarwal rightly said, by a court of law in India under Indian laws. Number two, our investigative agencies are abused for no rhyme or reason. I think the Enforcement Directorate, the Central Bureau of Investigation, all these agencies have done sterling work. And I'll tell you why. To stand up against a battery of lawyers in international courts and continue to win. Nirav Modi is still behind bars in a prison in London, in a country where bail, as Vijay would know, is very easily granted. The fact is that the investigating agencies have done their job. We must grant them that. Number three, as you, Arnab, rightly said, it is a blemish on corporate India. It is also a blemish on our banking and financial services industry. I just want to pick one point of Vijay because, as he knows, I have many friends who are also lawyers, gladly or sadly. The question is that you will get bail. He talked about the Punjab National Bank person. Yes, the Punjab National Bank person has got bail because he or she is not seen as a flight risk. Here, your person is not even in the country. So what is the court supposed to do? So there are two issues about bail. Bail is an absolute right, but where it's a flight risk and where you can get into intimidation or into deconstructing records or tinkering with records, then bail is denied, which Vijay knows very well. My point is, the lady doth protest too much, to quote Shakespeare. If you have nothing to hide, come back to India. You cannot be accusing India and praising India. Look what Mehul Choksi said to Ridham Bhardwaj. He said, I was kidnapped by Indian agencies. Do you have any proof? Do you know? Would any Indian agency want to kidnap you in the wake of international disacclaim, international pressure? To say these things in order to make it a pot boiler doesn't serve your cause. Vijay is advising him legally. Mehul should have a legal riposte, a legal argument, not a fictitious made in Bollywood argument, which says, oh, I was kidnapped by the Indian agencies. So there is a lot to be said,
Arnab.
and I completely agree with you, Arnab, that we have to create a fear, a demonstrable fear within people who think they can break the law, run away, and then be.
Shall I also double up by getting Rhythm also, and then we'll get Vijay to respond on why she thinks he's going to be a good Bollywood writer. Rhythm, you can tell Vijay directly what you said to me.
Yes. Thank you, Arnab. Vijay Agarwal, I also want to ask you, as recently as last month, you represented Choksi in the ED case that was filed in the Bombay court, wherein supplementary charge sheet is being filed against him. The bottom line is, it's almost too good to be true, Vijay Agarwal. It's actually what Choksi is now trying to say is, I'll rob India of its money. I'll run away to Antigua. It's an island nation. I will say that my alleged girlfriend is a kidnapper. I will then distance myself from my nephew, and you won't know what the saga in the family is between Mehul, Choksi and Nirav. And sources tell us they were so close that everything that was being done was masterminded actually by Mehul Choksi. So other than the fact that there seems to be a blockbuster movie where he's talking about torture and kidnapping and his soul having been tarnished, the bottom line, like Sohail has clearly mentioned here, is it's India's money that has gone, Vijay Agarwal. Isn't it time the Indian team that's been camping in Dominica gets him back?
Firstly, Rhythm, the team I believe that has already returned back, because Mehul Choksi is not there. So what is there for the team to camp now? But first of all, let me respond to what Sohail said and what Gaurav said. See, I defend a lot of cases in front of ED, but I must also add, I agree with Sohail as well as Gaurav that Enforcement Directorate as an organization have very intelligent officers on board, and they really proved to be very, very tough opponent for us. And even in this case, they were very, very swift, and they attached some more than the money which is due to the banks within the time span of 4 to 5 days. So this is one thing. Now, but what we are discussing here is, why is he not returning? Now, please see, it is a mistake committed. Now, one cannot take advantage of one's own wrong. Indian agencies go there, oppose bail, and then consent. There is a consent bail order passed now, where there was a consent between the Dominican state, the police, and the Indian lawyers present there representing Indian agencies, that Mehul Choksi will now only go to Antigua. He will consult 2 doctors. Even if he has to consult a 3rd doctor, he has to seek permission from Dominica court. So now they themselves have created disability for Mr. Mehul Choksi to travel to India. So now with what face can they say that he should come to India? You yourself created a disability there. No. There was no that consent. It is yes. It is not no.
The consent. No,
my dear.
Absolutely no. Nowhere did the government say that we are giving it to him in writing that we will not bring him to India. You are saying that the entire criminal justice system in India should be changed for your client. Why should it be? No, bail is different from consent. No, bail is different from consent. That is your interpretation. No. Bail is not, for God's sake, consent is not bail. No. I am running short of time. But
read the order. And let me tell you.
He's out on a bail order.
Try this once in life. When you say no, you have to trouble your tongue. And when you say yes, you don't have to. Just try speaking no as well as yes. So don't trouble your tongue too much.
No, I don't buy. I don't buy that. I'm going to take a break right now because I'm short of time, but no, I absolutely don't agree. On the other side tonight on the debate, thank you, gentlemen. The big story, which I want the whole country's focus on, we cannot abandon our own, whether it is Indians in South Africa or South Africans of Indian origin. We need to use our diplomatic power, our clout, our ability, our economic strength, everything possible to stand up, speak up for and help the Indians in South Africa who are being mercilessly targeted. More on that, ladies and gentlemen. in a special segment at 10 p.m. tonight.